When I first woke up and heard the news, it was very sad. Losing a friend, a mentor, a colleague, somebody with a great sense of humor, and somebody who has inspired me all my life. And on second thought, I thought maybe it's time to celebrate and reflect on an incredible life of somebody who's has had an impact on so many people. A brilliant mind, but also one which is inspiring, not only in the physics sense of the world, but also on a person with disability who has a joy of life and make things happen and push the boundaries for all of us. Stephen had a really great sense of humor. He liked to tease people, and because of his physical conditions, people would get really surprised to get teased. So as a student, you would get used to it, and then you would tease him back, and he loved to do this. He appeared in various shows like Star Trek or Simpsons. I remember part of my work showed that Stephen had wrong ideas, and when I left Cambridge, he gave me a copy of his book, A Brief History of Time, with a dedication to Raymond, who showed me that the arrow of time was not a boomerang. Thank you for your help, Stephen. So again, showing his great sense of humor. So doing a PhD with Stephen is a little bit unusual. Unusual first because you meet somebody who's has an incredible, brilliant mind. So that it puts you as a student definitely in a place where you have to step up your game. And so he's somebody very creative, makes you look at very different things in science and think differently. But the second part is that Stephen needed help in his day-to-day from his student. So as a theoretical physics student, I was assigned 1 day a week with Stephen, where I would go and pick him up in the morning and give him tea at 10 o'clock and help feeding him at lunchtime, and then bring him back home at the end of the day. Something that a theoretical physics students would not expect to do during their PhD. So there was this part of, I would say, the mind-body there was combined together. So there were special things that happened with Stephen that, although it was time-consuming to do certain things, it also allowed time to ask him questions which most PhD students would not ask their supervisor, of why do they think certain things, why he has this intuition, where certain ideas come from, etc. It is incredible how resilient and how much stamina Stephen had. When I was a student in the early 1980s, he was already incredibly disabled, and he got sick while I was a student and then lost the ability to speak. He was writing with a computer, which was again very slow, and he just couldn't do anything by himself. And if people would have made guesses during that time, people didn't think that he would live until 2018. So in fact, we're really lucky that we had Stephen for so long with us. And so it is inspiring. The impact of Stephen in Canada has been first to come to Waterloo and show the rest of the world like a gauge of quality. If Stephen Hawking comes to the Perimeter Institute and the Institute for Quantum Computing and Snow Lab in Sudbury, it does show that we do world-class science and equal to what the best in the world can do. But it also does a second thing, is inspiring generation of new scientists. Having him come here and mix with students, both at the University of Waterloo or the Perimeter Institute, makes it so thrilling, and also realize that the young faculty and students have somebody to look up to that they can connect with and do great science.